What is up, team? So, over the weekend, we had a few heavyweight dust ups, a few other fights, but I'm still buzzing about the Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallin fight. That was an awesome fight to watch, man. It was a great fight to watch. Had drama. The underdog was a hell of a lot better than what many expected. Many are saying Tyson Fury's been exposed by Otto Wallin. I knew it would happen, but you know where all these opinions are coming from, huh? They just the Deontay Wilder fanboys are thrashing us. Deontay Wilder has been exposed. Truth be known, for me, Otto Wallin is a lot better than most people expected, including myself. And a lot of that is attributed to the fact that he hadn't stepped in the ring against any elite competition, in the pros anyway. But as per usual, give me a second here, get a few things sorted, send out a few invitations, see if anybody wants to get on and have a yarn. Regulars, you've just had the link sent out to you, and give me a moment here, I'll put another link in the chat for anybody else who might like to join. Kia ora to everybody in the chat. Mala2243, good to have you in. Last one, what's happening? Tommy Temper, good to have you in, brother. Yeah, man, I think Otto Wallin is now a legit contender. Is he a world beater? No. I mean, he hasn't got anything special to him besides a damn good chin. He's fundamentally pretty sound. He's got a good gas tank. His defense is pretty good. He came into the fight with a pretty good game plan, and I'll talk about that game plan a little more once we get some guests on, if they would like to join. The link for y'all is in the chat if anybody would like to join. Could somebody let me know in the chat, is the music too loud or is it all good? Can you hear me fine? Got a bit of a different setup today, so appreciate somebody letting me know. Man, I thoroughly enjoyed that fight. I've watched the fight again and I was happy with my score. I had it 117-111 to Fury, giving Otto Wallin rounds 5, round 1, and round 12. The first 4 rounds were a lot closer than the rest of the fight for me as well. But I think the cut changed the fight for not only Otto Wallin, but for Tyson Fury as well. Initially, the referee did say it was an accidental clash of heads to Ben Davison and Tyson's corner. So if the fight did get stopped, it was going to be a no contest if it was before 4, and they'd go to the cards if it was after 4. But the Nevada State Athletic Commission used the video replay and determined that it was a punch, and rightfully so. It was a left hook that opened up the initial cut on Tyson's brow. And it was from that point onwards, Wallin's coach in the corner had told him, target the cut. I mean, there's nothing wrong with targeting the cut, but for me, I would have liked to have seen Wallin continuing with the body work that he was doing, because it was bringing him some success. It was taking away some of the offense from Tyson Fury. And Wallin, when he abandoned that body attack, seemed to fade somewhat in the fight. You know, it was all Tyson Fury from about round 5 or round 6 onwards up until round 11. And then we saw Otto Wallin come on in the last round and just about get a stoppage. Tyson did well to get out of that round, but Tyson Fury exposed? I don't think so, man. Tyson did what he had to do. He was informed, I think it was round 4, that the punch was caused by, the cut was caused by a punch. So if the fight got stopped after 4 rounds, then it was going to be a TKO victory to Otto Wallin. So he stepped on the gas, and man, I enjoy seeing Tyson Fury try and pour it on. Use his size, use brute force, take a few more risks. And man, he landed some big ass punches on Otto Wallin. There was 2 punches in particular. I think it was an overhand left. Overhand right. Smashed Otto Wallin's head back, and he stumbled. And there was a big uppercut too. I mean, Otto Wallin was leaning forward into the uppercut as well, so it lifted his head and he stumbled back as well. And man, if he didn't have a chin, that would have been lights out. There was 258 pounds of punch behind that, and it was impressive to see Otto Wallin be able to get through those tougher rounds from round 6 through 11. But yeah, like I said, I don't think Otto Wallin's a big time world beater or anything like that, but I think you got to legitimately put him inside the top 20. Top 20. And he's proven he can kick it with some of the elite level boxers. So big ups to Otto Wallin, man. But yeah, I think if he had have stuck with some more of that body attack, it would have opened up Tyson's guard a bit more, so he could have been able to target that cut a little bit more and possibly get a stoppage. I'd put a lazy 20 on Tyson to stop Otto Wallin within 6. So I lost money on the fight, but I'm not complaining, man, because that was a bloody good fight to watch. And I'm interested to see how good Otto Wallin's going to do. There's some pretty decent matchups out there. He's promoted by Dimitri Salita, so there's a possibility a fight between him and Jarrell Miller wouldn't be too hard to make. I would like to see that. I mean, even Luis Ortiz versus Otto Wallin, I think, is an interesting fight, man. 2 southpaws. And I think it would be competitive, man. It would definitely be competitive, in my opinion. I'm just going to turn this camera off for a while. There we go. And yeah, man, I was buzzing. There was a couple of other heavyweights that got a little bit busy over the weekend. Marius Vuk had a win over a nobody. Guido Vianello, who was actually on the undercard of Tyson Fury, and Otto Wallin got a retirement win over, what was the dude's name? Someone Anderson. Cassius Anderson, who was 7-1 at the time. Guido Vianello is a new charge for Kevin Barry in the Joseph Parker camp. He was a 2016 Olympian who lost to Filip Hrgovic. But he's 6'6". He's pretty, how would I put this? A little bit rugged. He likes to scrap, and he doesn't use his reach to his advantage at this stage, but it's hard to tell. The opponents he's been facing so far, he's only had 5 fights, so the opponents he's been facing so far hasn't had to have any respect for them. But it is what it is. Hold up, yo. I've just got a message I got to look at. It's like someone trying to get hold of me. Join us in about 10 minutes. Cool as. Looking forward to having you in, Rafi. I'll scroll back up the chat here. I'm supposed to look, make sure all my levels are good, and I didn't look. So it's gone now. Last one. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Otto is a southpaw, and it's always a tricky style. Agreed, but Tyson can go southpaw himself, and he's pretty technical as Tyson Fury himself. I said it, touched a little bit on my immediate post-fight video about it being a maybe it's not the best fight to prepare him for Deontay Wilder for sure, but certainly getting some ring time in isn't a bad thing. Going through some adversity, I mean, and you know, Tyson Fury being exposed, that's going around certain channels. We've seen this type of performance from Tyson Fury in the past. You remember the Derek Chisora, the first fight? He didn't look too shit hot in that. And also the John McDermott fight, the first time he fought him, I thought that fight was a draw, but he got it on points. So Fury has a habit of tending to, how would I put this? Like step it up when it comes to whoever the opponent is. He can do fairly well against decent opponents. Sometimes when the opponent's a little bit lackluster, he doesn't seem to turn up properly, but he still got the job done. He was pretty lucky the doctor didn't stop the fight, I thought, particularly in those later rounds when there was some really bad blood coming from the cut, and he had a second cut on his eyelid underneath the major cut as well. So still a good job from Tyson Fury. We got Marla2243 in the house. How are you today, brother?
Good, mate.
Good to have you in. You caught the whole fight, did you?
Yep.
Good man, good man. And what did you think?
Oh, great fight, great to watch. But I have to be honest, even I was watching it, and I know Tyson was cut, but he's going to have to bring more than that against Wilder.
Oh, for sure.
He looked hittable. That was the thing that concerned me. And he was hurt in that 12th round. Wallin got him good, eh?
Oh, he was so close to going out. If Wallin had caught him coming in when he was trying to come into clinch, when he was hurt like that, it could have been lights out, man.
Yeah, man.
Could have had a Swedish lineal champion.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
He had him. He hurt him good in that one. Tyson showed a lot of heart. He certainly showed grit. You know, those cuts were bad, and he never looked like quitting. You know, he certainly showed, you know, plenty of courage to keep going, and he overcome it. And he was actually quite lucky though that Wallin gassed.
Yeah.
You know, because if Wallin had been able to keep the tempo up and just keep hammering, it could have been very interesting. You know, it was a great fight.
Yeah, definitely. And where to for Wallin now, do you think? Do you think you'd give him a top 20 ranking these days? A legit top 20 ranking?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If you can get in against Tyson Fury and fight like that, I think you're top 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a comment from Oasis here. Wallin knocks out Joshua. What do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know. different fighter. You know, AJ brings a bit more power than Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Anthony Joshua did fight Otto Wallin in the amateurs.
Oh, how'd it go?
I think Joshua won it, but I think it was a decent fight. Can't remember actually seeing it, but I know he did fight him and he did get the win. But he also used him for a sparring partner prior to Charles Martin.
Oh, yeah.
So he knows exactly what Otto Wallin's all about and how good he is anyway. And, you know, leading up to the fight, Joshua was giving Fury a bit of stick. Look who you're fighting. Look who you're fighting. You know, talking to him like he's a bum, possibly trying to give Tyson Fury a false sense of security. And, you know, a few mind games there. But I'm sure Tyson Fury had an idea about what Otto Wallin was all about as well. You know, most of these guys know each other fairly well when it comes to how good they are. They have their guys in sparring camps, spying and checking everybody else out. So,
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, what a fight, man! I was buzzing. I was not expecting that. Not at all.
No. I was expecting a stoppage within 6.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know a lot about Wallin. I looked at Wallin's record, and his record looked good, but he hadn't fought anybody.
Yeah.
But he was certainly tough and durable. But see, Tyson Fury's father said to sack his trainer.
Yeah, well, I was going to touch on that. It's something that seems to be a common theme when fighters don't do so well lately. You know, Anthony Joshua's father went off at Joshua's team. John Fury's gotten right into what's his name, Ben Davison. But when these sort of things get said and the coaches get targeted, I don't think it's all the coach to blame. You've got to look at the fighter as well. He was the man in there doing the work.
Oh, so, that's right. I agree. It's the same with rugby.
Yeah.
You know, with rugby, if the All Blacks don't win, you know, it's we've got to sack the coach. But at some point, the coach can't make you catch the ball. We can't make you tackle. We can't make you pass. You know, as an athlete, you're in there. You have to at some point take ownership for what you're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who kind of question Ben Davison. He seems very calm and doesn't seem to have much urgency in the corner during a fight and whatnot. But Tyson and Ben seem to have a really good relationship and they gel. So, you know, I don't know how much better someone could be for Tyson in the corner besides maybe having John Fury in the corner. But then again, that could be being too close and not having the right relationship for a pro boxer. So
yeah, like for me with trainers, sometimes I know when people say a trainer doesn't bring enough intensity. I know you got the extreme of Teddy Atlas. Yeah, he's hardcore in the corner. But then sometimes if you've got a trainer, sometimes you may get to a point where you've got to scream at your fighter. But I think initially, as long as you're not bullshitting your fighter about the situation, if they're not winning, you know, sometimes you got to tell them they're not winning and that they need to pick it up. But as long as you're giving them good advice, you're giving them good technical advice to help them overcome what's happening, you don't necessarily need to be in there screaming at them.
No.
There may come a point where you've got to scream at them if they're just not listening to you, you know. But I'm a bit skeptical about having to bring, you know, the intensity that people say.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't always work for every fighter. Every fighter is different. And,
Some people need it. Some people need a kick in the ass.
Yeah.
You know, they need you screaming at them, but others it will just upset them.
Yeah. And, you know, if Ben Davison doesn't have to yell and his message is getting through to Tyson, then leave it be, man.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Whatever works for him. But
that cut was bad.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the cut man, when I was watching the fight, I thought that cut man deserves a bonus.
Big time.
He did a great job, man.
He had millions of dollars worth of a career in his hands right there and then.
He didn't panic, He didn't panic. He did a great job with that cut. Yeah, he earned a bonus for that, man.
Yeah, the second time he came into the corner, I think it was at the beginning of round 5 after the cut happened, and he says, "Oh, fuck, there's 2 of them."
I heard him say that. Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And then when the doctor stopped the fight and looked at the cut, I thought, oh shit, here we go. Tyson had to lie to stay in the fight, saying, I can see.
Yeah, man.
Post-fight, he said the cut changed the fight. I couldn't see from when it happened, so...
Yeah, that's fighting one-eyed, eh? That would have opened him up to punches, that can explain some of the shots he got hit with. And
Yeah. So, I touched on it earlier. Once the cut happened, and it was deemed to be from a punch, Otto Wallin in his corner had decided we're going to target that cut, and they threw all the rest of the game plan out the window. And from then on, the body shot stopped. It was just looking at the cut and trying to hit the cut. From round 6 through to round 11, it was all Tyson Fury. So, do you think maybe Wallin possibly should have stuck with the original when the opportunities were there, but still continued with the bodywork?
Yeah, I think so. I think you don't want to become one-dimensional and just focus on the one thing. If he's open to the body, hit it. If there's other headshots available that are not headshots that are going to target the cut, you still go for those headshots.
Yeah.
You definitely you look for whatever's open and hit it. Yeah, I thought that was a mistake. He got filthy too trying to work that cut, man. He tried to rake it, eh?
Yeah, was it at the end of round 5 or something like that?
Yeah, he tried to rake it. Oh,
that was pretty dirty, man.
It was. It was, man.
It was one of the rare times that I actually watched the fight with the commentary on, and I did hear the commentator say, that warrants an immediate point deduction, and I definitely agree with that.
That was filthy, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I thought when I watched the fight, one thing I thought Fury could have done was snap the jab a bit more.
Yeah.
Really put the jab out with authority. He's got an 85-inch reach, and I felt at times I wanted him to see him really get him behind that jab and really snap it and throw it a bit more consistently. I felt at times he wasn't throwing it as much as what he should have.
No, well, having what's the reach advantage? Was it 7-inch reach advantage? Something like that?
I think it was. And I was surprised. I thought he'd be working that jab just relentlessly.
Yeah, well, he should have been able to control that distance a bit better than he did. It's not like Wallin was bobbing and weaving to get past the jab. He was simply just walking in and jabbing himself.
Yeah.
So,
it surprised me.
Yeah, in those first few rounds, I chucked a lazy 20 on Tyson to get rid of Wallin within 6. And as soon as the first round ended, I thought, okay, that's my bet screwed. Just from the fashion that Tyson was being so tentative and showing so much respect for Wallin.
Yeah.
And it made me think, Tyson's trying to get some rounds in, and he's going easy on this guy.
And then he got cut.
And that was a big mistake. I thought if he had come out, pumped that jab and stepped into it to keep Wallin at range, he could have got him out of there within 6. But
I think
he was letting him in. So
and if you want to go rounds against a guy, if you want to get some rounds in, I've always thought that you've got to come out fast, beat him up, get superiority over him, then you can go some rounds.
Yeah, then you can coast.
Then you can coast and go some rounds. You don't want to come in and let him win the early rounds. Yeah, he's going to get confident.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he did too. Yeah, he did get confident. I guess we've got to give a lot of credit to Otto Wallin. He came in with, he thought he could win from the start, and there's not a lot of guys who would do that against a 6'9" lineal heavyweight champion. A lot of them would be there for the paycheck and think, if I can do a half decent job, my stock will go up, but I still expect I'm going to lose. I think Otto Wallin fully believed in himself, and good on him, man. Good on him.
He did. He fought like he fought the best fight he could fight. He just, as I say, he just needs to work. I mean, the stamina side of it may have been the occasion, it might have been nerves, might have got to him a little bit, and that can tire you. but he just needs to work on his stamina, because if he had been able to maintain the pace and keep that tempo up and keep pressure on Fury, you don't know how it would have gone.
Yeah. Have you rewatched the fight again since?
No.
Okay. I watched it a couple of times last night, and I thought there was a few punches there that I saw Tyson land when he was trying to throw the kitchen sink that really snapped Wallin's head back, and I thought, man, a lot of guys would have got knocked out by those punches. There was one uppercut in particular, it was huge.
Well, I saw a straight right hand that Tyson threw, and he drove Wallin back into the ropes. He always flew back into the ropes.
Yeah, he staggered, didn't he?
Yeah, I remember that one. That was the big one. You know, he's got some power, Tyson. When he gets him behind his punches and he commits to them, he's actually, you know, there is some power there.
Yeah, definitely. And we've also got Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio in the house. How are you today, brother?
Yes. How are my levels?
Sound good to me, mate.
Excellent. How are you gentlemen today?
Man, good.
Still buzzing, man.
Yeah. It was exciting. It wasn't expected. Yeah, I mean, we weren't expecting anything from this fight, and then we got that. We got a barn burner.
We did. A lot of drama. Do you think Tyson Fury is exposed?
Do I think Tyson Fury's exposed? Well, for a man who doesn't get hit, to see a man who doesn't get hit get a gash like that, it's like, wow, what's going on? What is going on? So we know now. When was the last time we saw Tyson Fury with a cut? I can't remember. So we know now that the supposed cherry, the guy that was supposed to be a cherry, when the guy who's supposed to be a cherry goes up against Lineal and cuts him within a few rounds, that's huge. That's huge for the spectator. As far as the exposed thing's concerned, let me turn myself up in the headphones. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it's a bit better. As far as the exposed thing's concerned, I think what that pertains to is automatically you start thinking about, well, you know, Tyson Fury is supposed to be going up against Wilder. And you can't help but think, damn, what's going to happen now? Because Tyson Fury did not look as
slick.
He was slick. Thank you.
Yeah.
He didn't look as slick. That Tyson Fury looked very touchable.
Even from the get-go, I thought he wasn't using as much evasive skills as he usually does, you know, not moving his head as much as he was, bending at the waist as much as he usually does. But Marla and I were talking about potentially Tyson may have been trying to get some rounds, taking it easy on Wallin, thinking he could blast him out later on. Do you think that may have been the case prior to the cut?
It's really difficult. It's really difficult to gauge, to guess. I mean, the one thing that stuck in my mind is I was listening to Teddy Atlas, and I can't remember the name of Otto Wallin's trainer, but I do remember Teddy Atlas vouching for him. He vouched for him. He said, well, you know, I trained him as a boxer, and so he worked under me. So whatever he's doing now, he will have taken some of my techniques over. He knows how to train. And Teddy Atlas kind of vouched for Wallin's trainer. So I thought to myself, okay, Okay, so it is possible that Wallin, you know, he might be a bit better than we think he is. And I can't help but think Tyson, if that is the case and he's better than we think he is or thought he was, then I can't help but think that Tyson, being plugged into the industry, he will have known that Wallin comes from, you know, there's a lineage there, you know, lineage title. There's a lineage there in terms of his training. You know, yeah. Teddy Atlas trained his trainer, who was a boxer. Teddy Atlas is vouching for him. I can't help but think that Tyson Fury would have known that, you know, the guy isn't just some little one-dimensional, you know, Tom Schwartz. What the hell's going on? What the hell is going on here?
Is it you or me?
I think that's is that me?
I haven't had a look, just a sec. No, it's not me.
I think it was me somehow. I think it was me.
The one thing I took from that fight with Fury, when I watched that fight, I have to be honest, Deontay Wilder would have put Fury to sleep in that fight.
Yeah.
He looked hittable, man. That was the thing. He did look hittable, and I thought if those punches Wallin landed had been Wilder punches, geez, it would have been over.
I think that's what I'm alluding to. I think that when people say Tyson Fury has been exposed, you won't believe who just called me. It was H Money. But anyway, when people say that Tyson Fury has been exposed, I think what they're really talking about is the guy who Tyson Fury is going to fight next, and that's Wilder. Yeah. And if it was Wilder in that ring that night with that Tyson Fury, I don't think it would have been a long night.
No, I can definitely agree with that. But at the same time, Tyson Fury didn't train for Deontay Wilder, did he? So there's two sides to that coin.
There's two sides to that coin. And the other side of that coin, I know what you're going to say, and it's logical, is that if Tyson Fury knew he was going to be fighting Deontay Wilder, then it would have been a different Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Fight to the level of your competition.
Yeah, fighting to the level of his competition. And so that's the logical thing to surmise. However, it can't take away from the fact that we can only look at the Tyson Fury that we saw that night. And that Tyson Fury looked very beatable.
He did, man. He was stunned in that. I said to Jono, he was stunned in that 12th round.
He was seriously buzzed. He was seriously buzzed. If he'd have caught him again with another left hook, was that a left hook?
I think so, yeah.
It was a left hook. If he'd have caught him again with one more left hook, then I think that would have been curtains.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that would have been curtains. So, wow, it was just a great night. It was just a great night. And as for John Fury, Tyson Fury's father, saying that he should leave Ben, what's his name? Ben, his trainer, Ben,
Davidson.
Whatever his name, Davidson. I mean, you have to look at the sequence of the thing. The sequence of the thing is that Tyson was under Peter Fury's tutelage, Peter Fury being John Fury's brother. And he was bored. He was bored with the training. He was uninspired. He was underwhelmed. I remember the Klitschko. Yeah, I remember when he was over in Germany for the Klitschko fight. And there was an interview going down and with Fury, Tyson. And he said, sometimes I get out of bed and I think, I don't want to do this. And then Peter turned to him. Peter was there and Peter was going red in the face. And he said, well, go home then.
Jesus, man.
So what I'm saying is that to me, that was a snapshot of their relationship. It wasn't it wasn't any kind of look at this from a psychological point of view. Let's talk about what's happening with you, why you feel this way. Let's see if we can make you feel a different way. It's like, well, go home then.
Yeah, I mean, as a fighter too, I mean, if you're not excited, it's hard to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, if you know you're going to go to the gym and you wake up and you're like, oh God, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you're not going to be successful with that state of mind.
Stale.
Yeah,
it's just stale.
Yeah.
I think you were stale over there. And that's not good. You don't want your training environment to be stale. And, you know, it's like John's forgetting that Tyson piled on how many pounds? 100 pounds, 150 pounds, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, piled on all that weight, got depressed, got into alcoholic mode, and all other kind of vices. And that was all under the old regime. You know, the new regime. Yeah, the new regime has revitalized Tyson Fury. It's revitalized him, he's reinvigorated him, he's walking around with a smile on his face again. So just to say, get rid of the guy who got you to the place where you are now, revitalized you, or played a significant role in your revitalization. Yeah, get rid of him. That seems kind of ludicrous.
Yeah. If he's happy in the camp and he's happy with what he's hearing from the trainers, you know, technically the technical advice he's getting. And I know what they criticised him for focusing on getting Fury's weight down, but they had to.
Yeah.
They just had to get his weight down.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who moves like Tyson Fury can't move for that long when he's 400 freaking pounds.
Yeah, man. You know, they had to trim him down.
That's trim him down dramatically.
I noticed, I just saw here in the comment section, he had 50 stitches, nearly 50 stitches.
Yeah, 47 stitches, yeah.
Damn.
That's a lot. Bear in mind that Klitschko had 60.
Yeah.
Vitaly, so it's pretty close. It's only 12 shy against Lewis.
I guess with that news, we've got to think about, is 5 months enough for a cut that bad to heal? Or is this going to delay the rematch between Wilder and Fury?
Yeah. I hope not. Damn, I'm so excited about the next fight with Wilder. It's going to be great. The first one was so good, eh?
Yeah.
Well, Arum spoke on that in the post-fight press conference. Did any of you see that?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Arum spoke on it. He said that, it should be. Mind you, I don't know if he knew it was 47 stitches at the time.
No, Tyson was on his way to the hospital when he was doing that interview.
Yeah. So I don't know if what he says holds any weight now, because Frank Warren said, well, it's the good thing is it's just a straight cut. So they're not going to have to do the plastic surgery type procedure where you stitch on the inside and then the outside. So it's not like the double stitching thing. But I think perhaps it's a bit more severe than they had anticipated. So Arum was saying, should be fine for February. But that was I don't know if he knew. Well, obviously he didn't. I don't know if that is bearing in mind the fact that it's 47 stitches.
Yeah. Well, Frank was saying that the cut man was saying it looks like a clean cut, not much of a rip, so it should be able to heal reasonably well.
Yeah.
But scar tissue is always weaker than normal skin, so it'll be interesting to see how it holds up. That eye on the right-hand side is more susceptible when you're fighting a southpaw, obviously, as well. So obviously Deontay Wilder's not a southpaw. He'll be taking shots on the other side more than anywhere. So it could be all right.
Could be.
And it's not something that Tyson's had to deal with. I think it was like 2011 he suffered his last bad cut. So interesting. You're going to say something there, Marlon?
Joey Gamanch, the trainer for Wallin. Did you ever see the knockout when he got knocked out by Ontario Gotti?
No, I heard the commentators talking about that.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal, man. I didn't actually recognize Gamanch in the corner. I thought, God, I know that name. And then they talked about the knockout, and I've got the knockout on a boxing DVD I brought. And it is brutal, man. Absolutely.
I heard it's terrible. Never seen it, but I heard it's wicked.
He got poleaxed, absolutely poleaxed. It is horrific.
All right, so we better welcome in Tommy Temper. Oh, he's gone again.
Where is he?
He wasn't here. He's gone again now.
Okay.
Sorry, Tommy. I was supposed to bring you in, but I had some technical issues. My phone decided to restart. So thank you very much, guys, for carrying the show for a moment there.
No problemo. No problemo.
It's all good.
So have we talked about Ben Davidson? Have we shared our views on him? Does he need to go? I mean,
well, we see John Fury had a bit of a rant, and he's gotten right into Ben Davison, blaming it all on Ben Davison. We had a bit of a chat about it. I mentioned that when things like this get mentioned, people seem to forget about the fighter who was the one in there doing the job. It can't all be the trainer's fault. But what are your thoughts? Because we've already had a little bit of a chat about that.
You've already chopped it up. So to me, I mean, Ben Davidson's the guy who got into the dance, second time around. Got into the dance. I understand John Fury's position. He's saying, well, there's basic fundamentals that weren't being adhered to. Where was the jab? Where was the footwork? And that's all legitimate. Those are all legitimate complaints. However, wasn't John praising him? Wasn't John praising him?
Prior to this fight. Yeah.
John was praising him. John was you cannot be serious, big boys. I just seen your message. Hell's going on here? I'm getting some messages from over there, and some crazy stuff. So I would say no, John. No, big boys, you don't want that. No, you don't want that. Yeah. Not with the message I'm seeing flying around. Okay, so wasn't John Fury complimenting Davidson just the last fight?
Yeah,
So
he's definitely one of the guys who helped Tyson out of a bad place too. So he's got a really good connection with Tyson. I can't see why you'd want to break that connection. I mean, he's 26 years old, and that's what everybody's saying. Oh, you can't have a trainer that young. He doesn't know anything. But he's obviously knows enough, or Tyson wouldn't take him on, because Tyson's not a dumb shit himself.
And remember, Ben Davidson was using him before Tyson. So, obviously Ben Davidson guy's got something about him. Yeah.
I think Tyson should stick with him, and I'm pretty sure he will. He's got major faith in him. And so why not stick with something that works? I mean, it was a tough fight. There was some adversity in there. The cut changed everything, and it ended up quite messy. But in the real scheme of things, it was actually a pretty wide scored fight. Wallin won 3 rounds on my card. At best, I think anybody could give him 4 rounds. I don't think you could give him 5. But still, even if he won 5, he still lost. So,
Yes. I think there's some legitimate concerns with the fundamentals. Fury's fundamentals initially they were absent. So I think if there are any questions to be asked or answered, then it's what about the fundamentals? But then you can't take away from Wallin, because Wallin came in and he had a good game plan. Go to the body. Forget about the head. Go to the body.
Yeah.
And so I think that we really need to see Wallin against a decent opponent to gauge him, to see where he really is.
Or somewhere on what level we actually think he is at now. But we've got a pretty good gauge now. I asked Marla earlier on. I'll ask you the same question, Rafi. Do you think Otto Wallin is a legit top 20 contender now?
I want to see him. I want to see him against a top 20 opponent to gauge it, because what I'm saying is that I don't think we've got to gauge.
Okay.
We saw him look good against Fury, but to really gauge him, we need to see him look good against somebody else, or look bad against somebody else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to see him against somebody in that in between 20 and 30 category to really have a look at him. I mean, I have a novelty fight in my head that doesn't fall into that category, but I'd really like to see it. I'd like Eddie Hearn to put it on, just for the fun of it. As his next fight. I want to see him against Tom Schwartz next in London.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough.
Just for the novelty value.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. I've just brought up the BoxRec heavyweight rankings, so I'm going to run a few names off, and we'll just have a bit of an opinion on who you think he might beat. So I'm going to start down the line a little bit. At, say, number 7, Jarrell Miller, who is actually co-promoted by the same guy as Otto Wallin.
Solito, whatever his name is, Solito,
Dimitri.
And that's why I don't think they'd meet, because they've got the same promoter. And Dimitri, I think the business model is to farm the fighters out to other big promoters, Top Rank, Matchroom, DAZN. That's how they get the money in.
Yep.
So I don't see them meeting at all. And Miller, I think he's just such a big block. He can absorb blows and just keep on coming forward. And he's just such a big block that can absorb shots. And we don't know how he functions naturally aspirated. We don't know about that. We don't know how much of his credentials are built on chemical assistance.
Yeah.
So we really don't know how he functions naturally aspirated. But let's say he functions at 80% of what we know him to function at. Then I still see Miller beating him, just because of his durability and his come forward. And we know that from what we do. One takeaway from the Fury fight is that there is an issue apparently with the gas tank of Wallin.
Yeah, and the pressure of somebody like Jarrell Miller, I think, would probably wear him down.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I think Miller would beat him.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one on the list, which is one that I would love to see, is Otto Wallin versus Luis Ortiz. What do you think of that matchup?
You want to go first, Marla, on this one?
Just depending on Ortiz's age, sort of, I would lean towards Ortiz in that, to be honest, if he's still got any youth left in him.
Yeah, you want to have a go there, Rafi?
Yeah, I'll go in on that. Ortiz. Yeah, I'm kind of stumped on that one. Because Wallin's got that. He can come over with the hooks. Yeah, he can come over with the hooks. No, Ortiz, because Wallin got some good shots in on Fury, but he wasn't consistent enough. He lacked the consistent application, the consistent pressure. Yeah. So that's his shortcomings as far as we can determine from one fight. He lacks the application. Yeah, consistent application. Okay, so I'm going Ortiz.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting matchup myself. I think if it could go the distance, I think Wallin would have a shot at beating Ortiz on points. Ortiz does set some very crafty traps, and he's got some decent power. But Otto Wallin seems to have a pretty damn good chin at the same time. So I think Ortiz would beat him if he could stop him, but if he can't stop him, Ortiz in later rounds slows down, and particularly if Wallin's going to that body a lot against Old Boy, it could wear Ortiz right down, and Wallin could get it on points. So I think that one's an interesting matchup, but I can't take a pick on that one. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah, go down the list a bit. I think we'll give Kubrat Pulev a bit of a miss, because I think Pulev would jab his head off all night on that one.
Yeah.
And Adam Kalnacki, I think, is a similar situation to Jarrell Miller with that pressure.
Too consistent.
Yeah. Joseph Parker.
Joseph Parker.
At number 11. How would that fight go with Wallin?
Wallin wouldn't stand much of a chance, in my opinion. Joseph Parker is a bit... He's too... I know Joseph Parker takes rounds off, yes, but he's just too consistent. I think he's too consistent. Listen, in my opinion, where Wallin derived his success against Fury was that Fury was not applying consistent pressure. To someone who's going to apply consistent pressure, if Fury was working as we know him to work behind the jab, if Fury came out and just started flicking the jab out, boom, boom, step back, boom, boom, step back, boom, boom,
maintain the range.
Movement. Yeah, maintain the range, boom, boom. If he was just like a metronome, as we know him to be at his best, like a metronome. Any fighter who is, everybody knows what a metronome is, just a tick tock, tick tock. You know that thing the musicians use. It's just because it keeps the rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that metronome, just that tick tock. Any fighter who uses that metronome type of rhythm, that metronome type of style, just boom boom, step back or step laterally, boom boom, will give Otto Wallin, in my opinion, problems. I think Parker falls into that category. He'll jab twice or something, step back, boom boom, step laterally, boom boom. That's why he was successful against Ruiz, because he didn't stay in the pocket. He just moved in, did what he had to do, and stepped out. Like a metronome, boom boom, out.
And I think you look at Parker's hand speed and the combination punching, and Wallin did look hittable.
Yeah.
He you can hit the guy. So I would definitely back Parker in that one. It's funny. I was talking to you before about Fury not using the jab enough.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you're aware there, Rafi. He had a 7-inch reach advantage. It's pretty substantial, but he still wasn't able to maintain that range. And it's not like Wallin was bobbing and weaving under a jab or anything to get inside. He was just walking in with a jab and done.
Yeah.
So Fury's jab was not effective.
None. It was. I've only watched the fight once. So I can't even remember if he was using the jab. But I just remember that it wasn't effective. Yeah, absolutely wasn't effective.
All right. So you're pretty much of the same opinion here with Parker and Wallin, are you, Muller?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as well. Next on the list is Derek Chisora, but once again, that could be a similar situation to Miller and Kalnacki, because he puts a lot of pressure on.
Yeah.
So
he's always there.
Yeah. I think I'll skip past Hergovic at the moment because he's still on the rise. And I'll skip past Dominic Brazil too. I think Oscar Rivas versus Otto Wallin, that could be a competitive fight.
Yeah, I would struggle to pick in that one, actually.
Indeed.
Oscar Rivas. Yeah. Why do I feel as if Oscar Rivas is too powerful? Would overpower him?
It's possible. I mean, he's got a big punch on him, but he's only a 6-foot heavyweight at the same time, so it's possible that Wallin could revert to jabbing and moving.
Yeah.
He's been outside all night.
Yeah. That's right. But, that could be competitive. Because he's Rivas is not so much of a metronome fighter. He's he'll stay out too long, maybe stay into. Mind you, he jumps in, doesn't he? He jumps in with a combo and then jumps back out again. But his output, Revis's output is a low output fighter.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to get to. I think the lack of volume from Revis could be the downfall, and I think Wallin would beat him. So on BoxRec, Oscar Revis is number 15, and I think he's the first fighter that we might all agree that Otto Wallin would beat. Are you on board with that one, Marla?
Yeah, it would be. He would have a good chance, because he's a smaller fighter. Yeah, I think so. Where's your rankings on Boxing Rec? What do you click on?
Up the top, you go ratings.
Oh, yep.
At the top, and then you get to select what weight division.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was on pound for pound. Here we go.
And then click go once you've selected heavy.
Oh, here we are. Yep, got that.
So yeah, what else have we got here?
You got an old Povetkin?
Yeah, Povetkin
Getting
could
old.
be a good fight
Getting a
as
bit
well.
older. Yeah.
I mean, if he got a name like that on his resume with a win, then he's certainly got to be edging towards top 10.
Yeah. Kubrat Pulev?
Yeah, I don't know if he could get past that jab with Pulev, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's got one of the most effective jabs in the heavyweight division, isn't he? And he's the same size as Wallin. But it could also be an interesting fight. And a lot of these fights, I think, are the ones that Wallin needs to cement himself as a legitimate contender. So maybe he's not quite there yet, but his stock has certainly gone up a lot, even though he lost the fight.
And you can throw in names like you got the Gerald Washingtons, Charles Martin, even Joe Joyce.
Yeah,
there's a few names there that he could have a chance against. But when you actually go through the list of top 20s, it's risky business for him, eh?
Yeah.
So would we call him a legitimate contender at the very least?
He would be. I would.
Carry on, Marlon.
It's hard, eh? I said before he was a legit top 20, but when you actually look at the top 20 and start going through it, he's
more like
top 30.
Well, he's more like 25 to 35. He's a legit 25 to 35.
Yeah, I would say that actually, because when you go through this list of top 20, there's a lot of guys here I don't think he'd beat. Yeah. So I think 25 to 35, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm down with that. We get some more information on his next fight to download, and we could make another assessment of it. But all in all, congratulations to Tyson Fury for getting that win through some adversity, but big ups to Otto Wallin for proving to everyone that he is no bum, he is no Tom Schwartz, and he's a tough mofo.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Didn't you feel proud of him?
I did, man. I'm not from Sweden. I've watched like 4 fights of his.
Yeah.
Didn't know a hell of a lot about him.
Yeah.
I was guilty of underestimating him myself prior to the fight.
Same.
Yeah.
So
I just felt proud of the guy, especially when the pre-fight, when they told you the story about his father had just passed away. I was just, so it was gut-wrenching.
Yeah. He's had some really bad luck in the last 12 months, man. He was also mandated to fight Ajit Kabiel for the EBU title, but his trainer got mugged in New York as he was getting ready for the fight as well.
I heard about that.
And then he gets a fight scheduled against BJ Flores, and he's
no contest,
not cleared to fight on the day. Man, he's had it tough, and his old man passed away unexpectedly with a heart attack. So
horrible.
the dude has done very well to be in the right mind space to step in a ring against somebody like Tyson Fury in the first place, let alone make it as competitive as he did. So big ups.
Yeah, I was just so proud of the guy that he went and did himself proud. Did himself and his family proud, because he had about 35 family members over from Sweden, and you know, it's we see so often guys who go in there against a top guy and they think, well, okay, I've already made my money. I've already made my money. I know I'm gonna lose. Let me just get through this a little bit and then, you know, just call it a day. But this guy came to fight, man. He did himself so proud. He did his family so proud. He did his nation so proud. And I think we're proud of him. We're all proud of him. Proud of the guy.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hey,
All right. Sorry, go, Muller.
Carlos Takam got a unanimous decision.
Oh, he didn't get a knockout.
No, 96-94, 99-91, 99-91.
Shit, I didn't see that fight. Damn it.
I forgot about that one.
No, I looked on
totally
TV to
forgot
see
about
if it was
it,
on, but I couldn't see it anywhere.
And
he came in. I'm just looking at the weight of the fighters. I don't know if. Hang on. 244? Or. I'm just looking at the weights. Hang on a sec. Parker. He must have been 253 and 3/4, I think. Takam.
263.
I'm not sure who weighs who. You've got there's 253 and 3/4, and then another weight's 244. So I think 244 was Craig Lewis. So Takam come in, but Takam come in big.
Wow.
He was 235.5 against Anthony Joshua. He was 253 for this fight.
Wow.
Damn.
That's a lot. For considering his height, he's not. I think Lewis is taller, isn't it?
Oh yeah, way taller.
Yeah.
Takam was 241.25 against Parker. So yeah, he come in very heavy for this fight.
Damn. Was he even training for this one? I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Got it all.
Craig Lewis. Oh, I'm actually a little bit surprised at that, because I've seen Craig Lewis fight a few times and he seems to get lost for ideas a lot of the time. He's not high volume. So he managed to pinch, what'd you say, 4 rounds off him?
It was 96-94, 99-91, 99-91.
Okay,
The
so
one
two
judge
judges gave Lewis 1 round and one judge gave him 4. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that some of the rounds must have been hard to score for it to go that wide between judges, but I'm going to find a copy of that to watch that, see what happens. But I'd totally forgotten about that fight. Damn it.
I tried to watch it on TV, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay. Never mind. Oh, we can't talk too much about that one if we haven't seen it. Did any of you guys watch the fights the day before between Sergey Kuzmin and Michael Hunter?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and what did you all think?
I
You want
think
to kick it off, Marla?
Yeah, I thought he's very slick, good mover, got a good ring IQ. You know, he's got decent speed, good two-fisted fighter. He punches well with either hand. Power, I'm not sure. Like he still knocked the guy down with a flash knockdown. I thought it was good, but I would love to see him fight. I don't know how he would go against the top 3 or top 5, but I'd love to see him fight guys like Parker. That would be a very good fight. I'd love to see him have a rematch with Usyk.
Yeah.
You know, I think,
He called out Povetkin after the fight.
He did? Yeah, that'd be a good one, eh? That'd be a good fight. Everyone wants Povetkin now.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you reckon of the fight there, Rafi?
Saw it. It went pretty much how in the general direction of what I expected. Remember we said points victory for Hunter. The only surprising thing was that the skill differential seemed to be greater. The speed Hunter had the speed, hand speed. He had the movement. His movement was better, significantly better. So he'd come into range, do the thing, then step out of range, but not just step back, but step at angles. He used feints where Kuzman had none. Foot movement where Kuzman was plodding. There was a significant size differential. But when we actually watch the fight, we see, well, a lot of that on Kuzman was just fat, useless fat.
Yeah.
It wasn't any useful, it wasn't any functional weight. It was just fat. He was just overweight. Slow, plodding. Hunter made him look slow, plodding. Yeah, slow and plodding.
Yep. I'm just bringing up some stats for a second here.
Yeah, slow, plodding. Hunter made him look kind of pedestrian. And it's not that he's particularly slow, because when Hunter if Hunter stayed in range for too long, then of course they'd have a little firefight for 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
They'd have a little slugfest for 1.5 seconds.
So Sergey Kuzman came into this fight at 258.5 pounds. His last fight he was 255. Prior to that, 244, 244, 247. So he's usually in the 240s. He's got an extra 10 pound, and it's stuck out to me that it made him slower. He was relying on trying to catch Michael Hunter with one big punch to win the fight. He wasn't showing a lot of skill in this fight, and I'd seen him use better skill in previous fights. So I think the weight had a lot to do with it in this instance, but Michael Hunter definitely negated a lot of what Sergey Kuzman was trying to do. I mean, I've always known Hunter's a bit of a slick mover. He's really deceptive. When you stand and watch him, he looks clumsy at times, but he's not. It's just unorthodox, awkward sort of movement, but it's very, very effective. I was actually hoping that he would stop Kuzman. I had a bet on it. I was paying good odds. I couldn't resist. But, yeah, I was quite disappointed with the effort from Kuzman. He just couldn't mix it with somebody as skilled as Michael Hunter. So, yeah, Hunter, his future is looking pretty bright. I think he could cause a lot of trouble for a lot of decent heavyweights, and even some of the bigger guys. Not so much the ones who are a bit quicker, like a Tyson Fury or a Deontay Wilder, but some of the guys that are 6'6" and above. I think Michael Hunter even beats them. He got rid of Ustinov, but he's over the hill and going slower and slower every week. But I think he's trouble. If you can't stop Michael Hunter, then it's going to be pretty tough to beat him on points.
Yeah, Hunter is a problem. He's a problem. He vindicated what I thought about him. He's just quick on the feet. He's got a good boxing brain. He's got Hasim Rahman in his corner. That's a lot of experience right there. He credits Hasim Rahman as being a very good strategist. Rahman's been around the block. He's been at the top in the was it the 80s or the 90s? The 90s, I think. And so he's got he seems to have a really good solid foundation. And like I say, he's got his fleet of foot. Got a good boxing brain. He knows to not hang about in range, not to hang about in danger spots. He was moving around all night. Was turning Kuzman, had him at 6s and 7s. Hunter's going to be a problem for a lot of. Hunter can be a problem for a lot of the top guys, high echelon, top 10 guys.
I think we could just about put him in that same category as Alexander Usyk. You know, the same sort of problems with the movement, the volume.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a reason why the first fight between Hunter and Usyk was such a good fight to watch.
Yeah.
They're on a very similar level. So,
Yeah.
looking
They ruled
forward.
that fight. They gave that fight. I haven't seen that one yet. It was one. All judges gave it 117 to 110 to Usyk, and Hunter ruled down in round 12.
Yeah.
So was it quite lopsided? Or were the rounds hard fought though?
They were pretty close, a lot of the rounds. You know, a lot of the rounds could have been swing rounds, but I think the decision was correct in the end.
Yeah.
But I would definitely like to see that run back at some stage. At heavyweight with no restrictions would be awesome, but I don't see it happening until, you know, Usyk's had his shot and Michael Hunter's also got a shot at a title holder of some sort. Maybe then they can get it on and
You know,
see if Hunter can get some revenge.
They might be able to throw Hunter in against a guy like Kalnacki.
Ooh, that's a good matchup.
Interesting.
Very
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess it'd be a question of can Kalnacki get to Hunter? But
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
how he moves, it'll be tough for him to track him down.
It
That
would
boy
be.
might gas out.
He'd be like the mummy. You know, those old horror movies when the mummy's trying to chase you and you're just running all around the house and he's just coming at you, the mummy.
Yeah.
The only way it catches you if you trip up over your feet, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. That's a good shout, man. I'd like to see that fight down the track. Might be pretty tough to make considering Kalnacki's PBC and Hunter's match room, but yeah.
An interesting thing that I heard Hunter say, because I saw him in a was it pre-fight or post? That's what I watched in two interviews. One was pre-fight, this guy who just fought Sergey Kuzmin, One interview was pre-fight, the other interview was post-fight, and it was interesting because Usyk's name was mentioned, and I said, "Would you like to get it on again with Usyk?" And he seemed to intimate that not just yet. Then Rahman stepped in. He said, "Well, you know, we talked about that fight. We thought about that fight, and we see that fight happening at some point down the line. Not too far down the line, but at some point down the line." Damn. Let me mute myself because somebody's calling me again.
No worries. But yeah, I think it's definitely a fight for down the track once they've had their run at titles and whatnot, and you know, similar level fighters. It's competitive as we saw the first time around.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing that I wanted to say that he said, the key point that Hunter said is when they asked him about how does he think Usyk will do in the heavyweights, he said, "Well, I think he'll do very well up until a point." And he used the key term here was he used the term feather-fisted at heavyweight. I found that interesting.
Funny, he knocked our value out brutally.
Yeah.
You know, broke value down and smashed him.
Yeah, but he's in there. He's been in there with him as Hunter, and his assessment is
They love you, Reffy. They love you.
It's the same time, man. He's a psychopath. I'm gonna have to figure out how to cut this, cut him off, man. He's called me about 3 times. This is the 3rd time he's called me one night. The same guy, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, but he said feather-fisted at heavyweight. Obviously, he doesn't mean totally feather-fisted, but he thinks he's going to be underpowered at heavyweight. So I think I find that very, very interesting.
Yeah, well, once we get this debut out of the way from Alexander Usyk, I think we're going to be able to find out a lot at heavyweight. Particularly of interest is going to be how heavy and how muscular he comes in, having no weight restriction. Maybe he might have more power at that that weight.
Yeah.
And somebody like Tyrone Spong, who's a heavy-handed puncher, a former kickboxer who, by all means, most kickboxers have pretty good chins.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you get Spong out of there? We're going to find out come October 12th. And it'll be a lot of information for us to download about Usyk at heavyweight. So
yeah, because there's been a lot of talk about him at heavyweight, but a lot of people are proclaiming him he's just going to smoke everybody, but we don't know how he's going to take a heavyweight punch from a real banger. You know, you don't know how much power he's going to have in his punch, so there is a lot of questions still there. It's exciting though, eh? It's good that he's there at the heavyweights, you know.
100% exciting. 100% exciting. As far as Usyk's concerned, I think he's just gonna. I think Usyk is gonna have too much movement and slickness, boxing slickness for Spong. Sorry, it's gonna have too much boxing slickness for Spong, and the same way you saw Hunter kind of, moving around against Kuzman. I think you're gonna see not the same pattern of movement, but you're going to see the movement being a significant factor.
Yeah.
Usyk versus Spong.
Yeah, I definitely totally agree with that. It's going to be a similar kind of fight, probably similar on the scorecards. I think it's probably going to go the distance. But, man, if Usyk gets Spong out of there, people aren't going to take too much from it. You know, most people don't know who Tyrone Spong is in the first place, so the normal casual, he just beat a bum, doesn't mean anything. So but for real boxing fans, we can actually download some proper information to get an idea at the very least of how he's going to go. Certainly interested. There was one other heavyweight fight on the Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallin card. I didn't manage to catch it. I had to go and get some stuff done. So I'm wondering if anybody caught it, if it was even televised. Guido Vianello versus Cassius Anderson.
Nope.
I didn't see it.
Okay. I didn't see it.
I don't even know if it was actually televised on the show or not, but I'm interested to see how this new charge for Kevin Barry is going as a professional. I haven't seen him since the 2016 Olympics. He's a 6'6" fighter who's got a punch. He likes to scrap though. He's not so much, he doesn't use the height and length to the best of his ability at this stage that I've seen. I've had Boxing Squid sent me a bit of footage from a couple of his fights, but he hasn't faced any decent opposition yet, so it's hard to take too much from it, but I'm interested to see how he goes.
I saw Kevin Barry's son in Fury's corner.
Okay, yeah. Taylor.
Okay, Taylor, yeah. He was one of the cornermen.
Yeah, well, Parker and Kevin Barry, their base is in Las Vegas, so the fight would have been just up the road for them. And Tyson spent a bit of time with Joseph in the gym and with Guido Vianello. There was some photos out of Tyson spending a bit of time with them prior to the fight. So there's a bit of a relationship there between Tyson and Joe as well. So I didn't actually notice Taylor in the corner, so I have to go and have a better look at that.
Chunky lad, isn't he? Chunky lad.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's in some of the pictures as well. But yeah, I clearly saw good old Taylor there in the corner. Yeah,
interesting.
And also interesting, just to cover a point which we've skipped before. The Mexican cutman. The Mexican cutman.
Yeah, we touched on that before you jumped on. I mean, that dude deserves a bonus, doesn't he?
Do you know that he's not a cutman? Sorry? Do you know that he wasn't brought in specifically as a cutman?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I heard an interview and they said, so this guy, and they mentioned his name, he said, How come you're using him as a cut man?
God, he was brilliant, man.
He did a good job.
So, you know, I assumed he was a cut man and they specifically brought him in for cuts, but apparently that's just like his second string kind of thing. You know, that's not his main thing.
Wow.
I found that fascinating. It's like, you know, maybe some investigation into that guy, because I thought he was specifically there as a cut man and that was his main thing. But no, he's like, that's just one of the things he does. You know what I mean? He's a gym guy. I think he owns a gym or is involved in the gym or something of that nature, and he's always around. But they just bought him in case, you know, in the 100th of a 10th of a chance that, you know, he might have a cut, and then boom, you got a cut.
He did a brilliant job. It's good marketing for him, man. Anyone wants a good cut, man.
Hell yeah, it's his second job now. He said, you know, put down his business card. I'm also a cut man.
I wonder if they just initially brought him in for a bit of a Mexican connection for Mexican Independence Day, and since Tyson Fury was apparently Mexican yesterday.
Yeah. They just brought him in with a nice sombrero.
Yeah, I heard he came out. Fury came out wearing a sombrero and
A poncho, yeah.
trying to taunt Ruiz.
It could be part of it. You know, I think the marketing strategy, from Top Rank was to utilize the day of Mexican Independence Day. So it wasn't a bad marketing strategy, but, you know, Tyson Fury's apparently Irish, but he's also born in England. Last fight he came out as American, and this fight he came out as Mexican. I mean, the dude's definitely a traveler. You got to give him that.
A real traveler. Multiple passports. Real traveler.
Hey, man, on a serious note, I've just thought about something.
Yeah.
You hear about in Saudi Arabia the drone attacks on their oil pipelines.
Wow.
You imagine if there was a drone attack on the fight.
I try not to think about those things.
You know, I just thought about it, man. I just saw a guy mention Saudi Arabia, and I thought, geez, man, they, you know, it's a terrible thought.
Oh dear.
But damn, I mean, how hard would it be?
Yeah.
For people to bring drones over and dive bomb the fight?
Yeah.
I imagine just with the fight being there, they'd have to spend a lot of money on additional security and surveillance and whatnot anyway, but it's certainly something that sits badly in the back of my mind, that shit like that can happen there.
Yeah, it's a part of the world, man.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't.
Having said that, anyway, there was the bomb in Manchester, wasn't there?
It was. I was about to say that. Yeah, it can happen anywhere, man. It's just,
children there getting blown up and shit. So that can happen anywhere. So I don't think we should really dwell on that, you know, because it could happen anytime, anywhere.
Well, that's right.
Terrorist attacks anytime, anywhere.
World, mate.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's happened in London.
Yep.
You know, we had 9/11 in America, so it can happen anywhere. That's for sure. Yeah. Unfortunate part of our world today.
Yeah, man.
Yes, it's unfortunate. But,
definitely.
What's happening with Dillian White? Have you heard anything?
Nothing that I know of. That I know the damn thing.
It's radio silence until that case is resolved at the stage.
You wonder how long that's going to take, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I think Hearn's come out and said that the chance of him fighting this year, which he had previously predicted was likely, is now unlikely.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Dragging out. So I'm wondering if it's the WBC investigation that's dragging out, or is it just the UCAD and British Border Box Control that's dragging out? I don't know. We don't know anything. They're not giving information.
No.
So it's left for us to speculate.
Yeah, or not, because this is one of those cases where we just don't know, literally don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I honestly haven't spoken about it because we don't know nothing.
No. And there's a lot of legality stuff surrounding it as well. If you say the wrong thing, you could end up in court. So just be careful.
There's literally no information, next to no information available.
Yeah.
So
hopefully we can see him in the ring January, February, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or if he gets found guilty, we're not going to see him for a while.
No. God, you got the Parker fight 5.5 weeks away. Is Chisora any more like Chisora's still up for the fight?
Chisora, 100% up for the fight. Chisora, his mom's an accountant. He's always up for making a good wedge. Joseph Parker came out and said he agrees with Chisora in so much as that they should be the main event as opposed to co-main event. But the situation as it stands now is that the status quo will remain. Progress versus Taylor is the main event, and Chisora v Parker is the co-main event. And Chisora is probably going to get another fancy watch out of Eddie.
That'll be it. Keep him happy. I mean, we haven't heard much since the show Derek put on at the press conference, so
that's right. Nothing.
Something has been resolved to a degree with Derek.
Yeah, I would imagine it's something of a financial nature.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that fight's all go. The Prograde Taylor fight's all go. The whole cards will go for that one. So I'm happy and waiting to see how the boys are going in training when we get a bit closer to it.
Yeah.
Make a prediction when I get closer and see what condition the guys are in closer to the fight.
Oh, you know that Chisora is not training with what's his name? Dave Caldwell.
Dave Caldwell, yeah. They haven't announced his new trainer yet, have they?
No, they haven't announced anything about that. Although I've seen him do a bit of physical work, training. I mean, not boxing training, but conditioning work with David Hay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, David Hay himself is pretty savvy when it comes to conditioning and fitness. So you'd think that they'd only need to get in a strictly boxing coach.
Yeah.
I expect we will see Derek Chisora in very good shape come the fight. I mean, he's already in pretty good shape, isn't he? So
yeah.
It's a fight that makes me very nervous. The way he goes to the body and then comes up to the head's lethal, man. And Parker's going to have to stay off the ropes, and he's going to have to be on his game, watching out for that. Because Parker's got a good chin, but Chisora can crack. I mean, he's been, he put Takam out pretty decisively. And then the last fight he had, who did he fight?
Spilka.
Smashed him, eh?
Yeah. Whereas you see, where in my mind, I'm looking at it a different way. I'm remembering him getting beat up by Takam.
Oh, he was getting pounded, yeah.
So I don't think it's a hard night for Joseph Parker at all. I really don't see it.
If I was Joseph Parker, I'd be wearing a cup in that fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about how Joseph Parker's going to take a dick shot.
Oh dear.
Derek's got plenty of mongrel in him, and he's going to bring it.
Oh yeah.
So Joe's going to have to get his out. Going to have to get the mongrel out, otherwise. Or he's going to have to keep it at range and dance around Chisora.
He's going to have to do both, because Chisora is going to close with him at times in the fight, and I think there are going to be some dogfight moments. I think, and Parker's going to, as hard as Parker tries to keep it at range and fight that fight, Chisora will close with him at times, and he's going to have to be prepared to get in there and show some mongrel. He can't do what he did against Dillian White and not show that mongrel, or he's going to end up with run the risk of getting the same result.
Yeah, definitely want to see a better inside game from Joe. inside game is where it's at. I mean, he can dance around a box all night, but like you say, Marla, there will most positively be moments where Derek's going to be on him, and he's got to do something about it.
Yeah. Can he not? Well, you just answered my question in a sense. I mean, if I'm Joe's trainer, I'm saying dance around. I'm saying dance around, and then have blitz moments. Have blitz moments where you voluntarily opt to go in and blitz, because if you don't voluntarily do that, it's going to come at you anyway.
Yeah. You pick the moments to do it.
Pick the moments. You pick the moments. You dictate. You dictate when you want to be on the outside, and then because you know it's coming, you dictate when you want to be on the inside.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the way I see it anyway. That's the game plan. That's the strategy I would advise to Parker.
Yep. I'm big time looking forward to that fight, and seeing where both guys go from there, whoever wins and loses. But yeah. So we have been live for 1 hour 31 minutes. So it's about time to start wrapping it up. I'd just like to say I watched the Zapata versus what was his name?
Pedraza,
yeah. The Battle of the Jose's. That was a goddamn good fight to watch too. Not heavyweight, but it was awesome, man. It was a war. I thought Pedraza was going to come away with it, but then watching the fight, it seems Zapata has got a new lease of confidence in himself. Yeah. And he did a good job. So it looks like he's going to get another title shot at some stage. Did either of you guys watch that fight?
No, I didn't see that.
I tried to, but I kept on falling asleep, my friend. I just kept on falling asleep.
Pretty late show over there for you, wasn't it, Rafi?
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it live. I just caught replays. But even so, I mean, I've had a busy day today, and I've been banging out some stuff, some work. So I just couldn't. It's just the little guys, man. The little guys, the little buzzsaw punches going 12 rounds. Come on. I can't take that. I can't take it. Zip, 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 zip. They're banging each other for 12 rounds and nobody goes down.
Fair enough.
That's a bit of pill for me to swallow, my friend.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I don't cover too much below sort of 147. I occasionally touch on the 140s, but the little buzzsaws don't excite me as much either. No. All right, lads. All right, well, we'll start wrapping it up there. Any final words before we go there, Mala?
No, I don't know. Any other fights that are coming up till Parker? Is that it? Is that sort of got a bit of a lull?
There might be a couple next week. I'll just bring up the schedule and have a quick look before we go, eh? Mm-hmm. I'll just look at the heavyweights for now. We got that Spence Porter fight coming up in a little while, don't we? That's October? Or was that November?
Spence Porter. That's a good question. When is it? When is that? Now they're deep into training now, so we're talking about a month, 2 months, 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, might be 6 weeks. I'm not going to bother looking that up for now. No. I'm just having a skim through for next week. What have we got here? I'm not seeing any names that I recognise so far. Might be a little bit of a lull for the heavyweights. But I will drop a video during the week sometime when I find out what's going on for next weekend, if there's anything going on for next weekend. It's nothing worth mentioning that I can just see right here, so...
Yeah, a bit of a lull.
Yeah.
All right, you got any final words there, Rafi?
Well, it's just we're just gonna have to digest this Tyson Fury thing because It's the first time in a long time where he's looked so touchable. I remember the last time I've seen Tyson Fury looking so touchable. So of course the Americans are going to go crazy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the titles of their videos at the moment are Tyson Fury's exposed, Tyson Fury's a dead man walking.
Dead man walking.
Cracks me up, man. I mean, a lot of their videos, you go and check out a video, it's supposed to be about the fight, but they go straight to skip the fight that just happened and Deontay Wilder's going to kill him. Deontay Wilder's going to kill him. If that ain't fanboyism, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, right.
Not very objective at all. Not very objective at all. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to see him in an exciting fight. Let's put it that way. It was an exciting fight, and we're going to be chopping it out for the next week or so. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. All right, lads. It's been a pleasure having you on as usual. And everybody in the chat, thanks for turning up. It wouldn't be the same without you here. If you haven't already, make sure you get over to Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Check out his content, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And make sure you do the same over here too. That thumbs up button's right there. Make sure you hit it. It's free.
Smash it. Smash it.
So, and subscribe as well. So, yeah, thanks very much for joining us. This is Marla2243, Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, and Big Boys Boxing, and we are out.
Later, mate.
See you.
Nice one.